If you've ever asked yourself the question, am I getting results from my networking events? This video is for you. The question, was it worth it, can be answered by accomplishing or completing a debrief after each event to evaluate your networking efforts. Reflection, particularly after networking, but also in business, is often overlooked. We skip it because we're engaged in forging ahead. We're very busy. We don't understand the value that reflection brings, and there's a lack of tools to help us quickly and concisely evaluate our activity. Why we can't skip it, I believe, is very eloquently summed up by Margaret Wheatley, an author and management consultant. She says, "Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful." This feeling that we're not accomplishing something useful with our networking can be resolved with a debrief. My name is Shoma Jurgensen, and I'm the owner of Intentional Growth Strategies. I'd like to share with you why a debrief is important, or the value of a debrief, and then the tool that you can use, a worksheet, to help you evaluate your networking activity. The first element of the debrief is the ability to reflect on goals and objectives. Did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? You might find that you didn't, and you can compare your expectations to the results that you achieved. You're able to reinforce the value that you offer. You're going to networking events to establish relationships, and your most valuable currency in that relationship building is your value, your resources, your expertise that you can offer in service. You're able to internalize learning about connections and establish a record. Remember that as you are completing networking activity, it's a long-term objective. You might attend multiple meetings over the course of a year or more before you are completely convinced whether or not the networking event has worked for you. Having a record allows you to better evaluate the use of your resources before you decide whether you're going to stop going to those networking events or go to more. What you're trying to do when you do a debrief is really take a closer look at the impact that event had on your goals. 4 questions, 4 W's is all it really takes to debrief an event. What happened? Where did you add value? What did you learn? And would you attend again? If the event you attended was short, it was informal, it didn't take a lot of your time or money, you can answer these questions on the back of a napkin. But the important part is that you did, in fact, reflect and do a debrief on that event. If you're investing more of your resources, more of your time and money, I recommend using a more structured approach like the worksheet I'm going to share with you now. Let's take the worksheet in the umbrella of each of the questions. First, what happened? This is the beginning of the worksheet, which you'll find how you can get this worksheet at the end of the video. But the first thing you want to do is record the resources. So what was the event? When was it? Where was it? Did you complete the debrief immediately after the event, which I highly recommend, either that day or the day after, or schedule it and put it on your calendar that you make sure that you complete it. And what was the cost? And remember, money is not the only cost. If the event is free, but it takes 3 or 4 hours of your time, that is also a resource that you have tied up. Identify your goals and objectives. What did you expect and what did you actually get out of that networking event? The reason for the difference is important to record. Sometimes the reason that what was expected and what was actual is within your control, and sometimes it's not. For example, I went to an event last summer expecting to talk to gift vendors about their marketing. And when I arrived at the event, all of the vendors were restaurants except for one. And that's not what I was expecting. Instead, I had to quickly change my objectives. And I did note down the reason for the difference being it wasn't clear who was going to be there and I need to do more investigation. The next question is, where did you add value? This is a very important piece. We go to the events to add value to our connections, and it's important to reinforce the value you did in fact add. Did you share resources? Did you offer referrals? Did you offer to sit down and talk more with someone who's just entering the field? Did you connect with a mentor with whom you're going to have a phone call? And in that way, add to her or his value as a mentor. So what exactly did you offer at the networking event? Very important piece. And then what did you learn? And there's two areas: what you learned about your customers or connections, and what your customers or connections learned about you. Particularly writing down what you learned about your customers or connections will help you in your follow-up. What did you learn about Bob when you met him that you could include in a thank you note, a voicemail, an email, or a LinkedIn request? What was he or she looking for that you could send resources in the future? And on the flip side, other people are at networking events hoping to help you as well. What did you share? What did you share about your goals and objectives? What did you share about the activities you're excited about? What did they learn about you so that you can forge a deeper connection? And would you attend again? This is the ultimate question, right? Was it worth it? And there's three areas I like to look at under this question. First, were there any surprises or challenges that you weren't expecting? These can be pleasant surprises, or they can have hindered your networking efforts. It's important to record them to see if these are consistent challenges at a particular event, or if it was a one-time fluke. Second, would you or would you not attend the event again? Be careful answering this question. Remember that networking activity has a long-term benefit. If you're expecting to make sales at the event itself and then choose not to attend because you have not, that short-term mentality could cut you off from a significant number of opportunities in the future. What's important is to record what you did get out of the event before you make the decision. Now, sometimes you'll be able to make it quickly. Keep your mind open as you progress through your networking journey. And remember, just because an event isn't a good fit for you and you wouldn't attend again, it doesn't mean it's not a good event. It simply would be a better fit for someone else. If you are recommending an event to another connection because you believe it would be a better fit, you are then offering value, because understanding how networking events fit is a resource that you can offer. So think about, who would this be a good fit for? Or is there someone I would bring with me next time? So let's wrap up this idea of the debrief and take a look at the advantages. First, of course, is that you are being very conscious and intentional about your networking activity and trying to evaluate how you're using your resources. But you're also celebrating your effort. If you set particular goals or you want to share some value and you are seeing that you're doing that on a regular basis, that's very uplifting. You're also identifying challenges. Is there a particular networking event that is regularly unorganized? Is there one that is so vague that you're not quite sure who's going to be there and then you're not getting what you need out of the event? You're able to identify those challenges. And by doing so, you're able to make better decisions. Should I attend? Is it worth my time, my money to continue to go to these events, and why? You might have very different reasons to attend different events. And finally, you're able to experience closure. There is great value in being present for each networking event. And if we're rushing from event to event, we're not getting the full value that we could out of each and every one. I'd like to share some more resources about networking with you. First is a free guide that you can download here at this web address, 5 tips to network with more confidence. And I'd like to share with you the only 3 people you really need to meet, and I can do this through this blog post at this address, when you're ready to turn up your networking results. I'd like you to explore my book, Fearless Follow-Up, How to Turn Conversations into Clients. You can learn more about it here. And in the book, you'll find ways to set your goals and objectives. Of course, you'll find the networking debrief worksheet and other tools to help you continue to follow up after the networking event and make the most of every connection. Did you like what you saw here today? fantastic. There's more in the pipeline. So please subscribe today and share with your friends.